Okay, so this is a quick overview of how to do an R.A.C, so restate, answer, cite, question. Now, this is one we've done in the past, so I'm going to reuse the same example. The first thing I always do, and I always remind you guys in class, is you should look at what the question says. So what was unique about how some African leaders governed their people? So I got to find something that is unique. And I always like to color coordinate stuff. So I might hit the highlight button up here to help me out. So unique about how some African leaders govern their people. Now, if I don't know what the word govern would mean, I would have to look it up real quick. You guys, I always encourage you, if you don't know a word, to Google it. And don't just read the definition. You can look at similar words because that's often helpful. So I got to write 2 sentences according to my directions. My first sentence needs to be restate the question and then answer in my own words. And my second one needs to be a quote directly from the text. Now, what I've been telling you guys do, because our quote should support our answer as evidence, is I've been saying we should find our quote first, and then we can figure out a way to make it into our own words. It's a good way to do that, right? You find your evidence first, and you find a way to put in your own words. So our text says, in most ancient societies, rulers were isolated from their subjects. Okay. In Africa, south of the Sahara, the distance between kings and the common people was not as great. All right, so it's comparing it, saying most rulers were isolated away from their subjects. But in Africa, south of the Sahara, the distance between kings and common people was not that large, was not that great. So it must mean that they're closer. Often African rulers would hold meetings to let their people voice complaints. In Ghana, drums called the people to the king. Anyone with a concern could address him. Before talking, subjects demonstrated their respect. Okay, so I'm not going to read the rest of that because I want to make sure I have enough time to explain what I need to do next. So the second half, everything down here, from in Ghana all the way down, is just describing a specific instance. But I kind of want to just generally talk about what's different because it talks about this ceremony and, we haven't read much about this kind of stuff, but like all over the world, when you address the king, there would be some kind of ceremony you'd have to go through. So that's not that unique, having a special ceremony. What is unique is the distance not being so great between kings and common people. So I could either use that sentence or I can use often African rulers would hold meetings to let their people voice complaints. First thing I want to do is I'm going to change into red. So I'm going to go up here, I'm going to hit red, and I'm going to restate. So I'm going to take words from the question, and I'm going to start my sentence. The unique thing about how some African leaders governed their people was, now I got to answer. And I'm going to switch to, looks like light blue. If you guys use dark blue, that's okay too. So I know if my evidence is going to be often African rulers would hold meetings to let their people voice complaints, I might say something like, they allowed, or I should say the rulers allowed common people to directly talk to them about concerns, or I could say like worries, or, because I don't want to repeat and say complaints again. And then I would end it by using my quote, often African rulers would hold meetings to let their people voice complaints. Okay, so that is how you do an R.A.C question. Restate, answer, cite. I've restated in red. I wrote an answer in my own words in blue. And I've quoted, or cite, because that's the same thing. Forgot on these older assignments, I did not include that. But yeah, cite and quote means the same thing. So this is how you would do these steps. Make sure understanding what the question is asking for is key. Because like I said, a lot of people, when they did this question, they focused on the ceremony. That's not what is unique about African leaders. What's unique is that they let them talk to them directly. Because that first sentence, again, it says, in most ancient societies, rulers were isolated from their subjects.